Fox 2 Detroit is now streaming free on Fox Local. Download now on your preferred streaming device for live newscasts and more.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I am Brandon Hudson.
And I am Amy Lang. Good to be back with you. New this morning, police are investigating after a shooting in the parking lot of an Oak Park apartment complex.
Dangerous situation unfolding as people were waking up, and the search for the suspect continues. This video from Sky Fox shows the scene. We are told that the shooting happened around 6 at the loop on Greenfield Road near I-696. Officers are in the parking lot. They could be seen placing evidence markers on at least 10 shell casings and an SUV with bullet holes. So we will bring you the latest updates from this investigation, both on air and online.
And Troy police asking for the community's help to find the man accused of attacking a woman in a Target parking lot.
Investigators want to stop this guy before it happens again, especially as people are out shopping. The victim managed to fight back in the process. Fox News' Robin Murdoch is live this morning with the latest. Robin, a lot of people concerned as they shop at this Target because they feel it's safe.
Yeah, you know, and I just did check with investigators, and at this point, that suspect, he still does remain on the run. They obviously hope that they will get him into custody sooner rather than later. And until that does happen, shoppers in this area, and this is an area that most would consider safe, those shoppers say that they will remain on edge.
I don't even know what I would do. I can't imagine.
Troy police released these surveillance pictures of the suspect allegedly behind the vicious and unprovoked attack of a woman in this busy Target parking lot of all places on Coolidge Highway in Troy last Friday. It happened about 9 o'clock at night, so it's still relatively light out. Days later, he is still on the run, and that run in now has Target regulars changing their routine.
And thought to myself, I'm going to bring my husband here today just to be extra safe.
And this shopper is likely not alone. The victim in the situation detailed her account of the armed ambush on her Facebook page. It's since been shared several thousand times, that number growing. In the post, she says, quote, on 7/7/23, a man fought his way into my parked car. He attacked me, pointed a gun to my head, told me not to scream and to get in my back seat. That play-by-play, hard to read, hard to fathom.
Even this is like a 20-minute drive from me, and I'll come to this Target, not the one that's closer, just because I feel like this is nicer. But hearing that, you know, it doesn't really matter where you're at. It can happen anywhere, I guess.
The victim did not back down. According to investigators, the suspect struck her with a closed fist to the face during the struggle, resulting in multiple fractures. Someone nearby heard her hollering and immediately headed that way, their quick reaction scaring the attacker off. Police now hope these photos will lead to his arrest before anyone else is hurt or worse. In the meantime, awareness is key.
Definitely something I'm going to have to think a lot more about because I'm always on my phone looking around. We're all moving so quick.
Now, the pictures that police did release are a little bit grainy, but of course, if you know who this suspect is, you will be able to recognize him right away. We are told that he is in his 30s. He is tall with a thin build, and he was last seen wearing red shorts, a green hat, as well as a blue shirt. If you know anything about what happened, give Troy police a call right away. We are live in Troy. I'm Robin Murdoch for Fox 2 News.
Yeah, so respect for this woman for speaking up here, because a lot of times people may go through this situation. They may keep it to themselves, but this woman spoke up. Any indication on why this mother spoke up?
Well, I think one of the things that she wanted to do, Brandon, is she wanted to make the public aware of this situation so that they could protect themselves, so something like this would not happen to someone else. And one of the things that really stuck out to me as I was reading her very detailed post, she talked about how when the suspect was beating her, when he was strangling her, the one thing that she was thinking about was her son as well as her fiance. And as she said, quote, I fought like hell to see them again. Back to you, Brandon.
I'm glad that she can be back with her family. We will continue to spread awareness on this case. Robin, we appreciate it. Thank you. Amy.
New this this morning, a Ford executive is facing several charges this morning following what's being described as a domestic dispute. Ford Next CEO Frank Louis Victor is accused of threatening to set two of his wife's purses worth $10,000 each on fire with a butane torch. Police say Louis Victor slapped and headbutted the victim and struck her, causing a laceration under her left eye. Police say it happened on Saturday at the couple's home in Bloomfield Township. Louis Victor was arrested and, along with arson, was also charged with assault with a dangerous weapon. He was arraigned and is being held on $25,000 bond. Ford has declined to comment about the charges. Also new at 11, right now the man accused in the abduction of 2-year-old Winter Smith is expected in a Grand Rapids courtroom. Rashad Trice faces federal charges for kidnapping and kidnapping resulting in death. According to police, Trice kidnapped 2-year-old Winter from a Lansing apartment on July 2nd. He was caught a day later after fleeing police and crashing a car in St. Clair Shores. The child's body was found days later in an alley near Irwin in Detroit. In court papers, federal authorities say there was probable cause to believe that Trice killed Winter, possibly strangling her with a pink cell phone cable. If convicted of the death-related charge, the mandatory minimum is life in prison. Michigan does not have a death penalty, but it can be used for certain convictions of Michigan defendants in federal court.
Fox 2 Detroit is now streaming free on Fox Local. Download now on your preferred streaming device for live newscasts and more.
New overnight, Dearborn Heights squad car. Take a look at this. Flipped upside down after a crash. The officer hit a hydrant at Plymouth in Ohio on Detroit's west side. There's a lot of water that went out on the street. At least one other vehicle involved in the crash. The officer's condition is unknown. An ex-Warren police officer faces federal charges accused of beating a jail inmate. Matthew Rodriguez is charged with deprivation of rights under color of law, which is punishable by up to 10 years in prison. The 14-year veteran was fired last month after internal investigation. The federal criminal complaint says that Rodriguez repeatedly punched Jaquan Smith in the head, grabbed his hair, and slammed his head onto the ground. Rodriguez allegedly lifted the 19-year-old man and kicked his feet.
It should send a clear message to those officers who defy their oath and the Constitution, contrary to the vast majority of law enforcement officers who carry out their duties.
No one's above the law, including Mr. Rodriguez, who took an oath of office, and as such, he will be prosecuted just as anyone else would be prosecuted. But it gives a black eye to all law enforcement, and it gives a black eye to the ones that try to do their best every day.
The acting special agent in charge of the FBI said he saw this video and it broke his heart. Rodriguez was initially charged last month with a misdemeanor.
And a new request from confessed Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley. The teen is asking that the life without parole condition be dropped from his sentencing guidelines. Court filings also show he's requesting to wear street clothes instead of a prison-issued uniform when he appears for his monthly hearing July 27th. The motions will be discussed at a virtual session tomorrow. And Dearborn police arrest a young man they say launched a firework at one of their cruisers. 18-year-old Wael Har was arraigned on 4 felony charges. An officer and a civilian were inside the squad car when the firework was launched. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. Har's bond was set at $30,000. And some unwelcome guests are taking over Livonia neighborhoods. It's led to verbal fireworks where residents say they are fed up with the deer.
Yeah, so let's get back to that big problem in many other communities that we also see. Well, right now, the growing number of deer vehicle crashes and other complaints have Livonia residents demanding action from the city council.
We do this properly, the people of Michigan, the soup kitchens will win, and so will Livonia residents.
This is God's creatures that you're deciding their fates, you know, and God says you don't kill, period.
Deer also bring in disease, but what else does? Raccoons. Raccoons bring in much more disease, and the city does nothing about it.
I have the garlic spray on everything that is green. I have soap hanging in nylons everywhere in my yard. The deer are in my yard every single day. Running out of options. You guys need to do something.
So that is just some of the frustration you heard there, and people are conflicted on both sides there. The council is leaning toward joining what's called or what's known as the Urban Deer Coalition. Now, this would involve a broader strategy to manage the population.
If Livonia acts alone in regards to doing anything, it's not going to make a difference. So this Urban Deer Coalition is an opportunity for us as a city to speak with other communities and have a larger conversation in regards to what's going to be happening here.
Now, some suggest shooting the deer and donating the venison to food banks. As of this morning, Livonia city officials have not made any formal decision. Stay tuned.